Hey y'all, my name is Shan. Welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is a series for Black fathers because Black fathers matter. Black fathers matter to me. Black fathers matter to my children. Black fathers matter when it comes to my brothers, my mentors, my friends. They matter because they set the tone for who our children look up to. They set the tone for how men, women, children, and other elderly people feel protected, feel like, everything they've struggled for was for a good cause because they've seen who they've become. And I want to, I just want to shine a light on them and hear from them in a perspective that sometimes goes unheard because no one cares to ask. Sometimes people look at fathers as if, oh, that's nothing. They're supposed to do that. Why would we, thank you for doing something you're automatically supposed to do? You shouldn't look for any, praise or any thank yous for that. That's standard. That's the basics. Do what you're supposed to do. But when you have a father that's there, that's consistent, that's available, that's attentive, that's caring, that's thoughtful, versus an absent father, versus a father that thinks his life and his now is more important than the child's future. There's a difference. There's a clear difference. And I just want to show appreciation. So this series, I've interviewed many fathers from different places, different backgrounds. And I really just want to pick their brains with different questions. So thank you for listening to Cozy Womb Podcast, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so today we have Mike G. This is a Gap fam. So in college, I used to work at the Gap in Atlanta, and it was like a group of just eclectic, different personalities up through that store, and just developing like our own friendship, kinship fam. And most of us have all just like kept in touch. So, Mike and Jazz have always been like one. Like if you see one, the other one is not far, at any time. And so I've always known them to be together. So mind you, we're talking before I met them, they were together. From me being in college, went to college when I was 18. It was crazy. Like, fast forward, they're married, they have a son, and they're just out here living their best lives. And I just wanted to pick his brain about fatherhood because I've never had a discussion with him about fatherhood, and he was just sharing a very in-depth, insightful idea about fatherhood and raising his son and pouring into his son and allowing himself to be within the mind of a 2-year-old, allowing himself to be within the curiosity of a 2-year-old, which is not easy because they're always trying to dig, trying to figure out, trying to explore, and they keep you on your toes. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. Welcome to Mama Shan Tip or Question. Is it a tip or is it a question? Let's see.
Here we go.
Back to the show.
I'm like official.
You're such a music-minded person.
Yeah.
I'll edit, but I'm not like going in and fixing like levels and stuff.
Nah, I mean, I think for most basic things, all that stuff's usually cool. I just like I already feel weird right now because I know my man is just keeps turning up the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, if I tell you, Jazz, like come get him, well, he's then gonna try to act funny with her, like, or try to throw a fit with her. So it's like when people say like the terrible twos, it's like I get that shit because the terrible two part it's not even two. It's the little piece of awareness that you think you have, and I feel like we have that all, like humans, right? That's like human nature. It's like we think we know, but you don't know shit. You know, like I don't know anything, and I'm not trying to act like I do.
Yeah.
But he thinks he knows stuff.
Twos are this. Twos are babies realizing that they have extra heightened powers where they can do some things that the big people could do. So they're always testing to see what they could do. And that's where it's like, you pushing it, or you really trying to stay level and trying to act like you don't know what you did. That's what twos are.
So, funny enough, I feel like that starts earlier. I think it starts from the crying state. Like, I feel like as soon as they start crying, like, I feel like week one, they realize.
Not week one.
Dog, they know how to get food. Think about this for a second. You're not even conscious, but your body knows how to crave and ask for food, right? Like, the baby knows exactly where the boob is without even being able to see far enough.
That was Anya within like an hour after I had her. Like, right. I didn't give her the boob, she found it.
They just find it. So the thing is, now my kid didn't latch or whatever. That at first you want to be like, oh wait, something wrong, but then you start realizing no, it's because people have minds of their own, and everybody just don't want to do the same thing. Plain and simple. So when I even see this, just like you said, it's like them having a bigger body. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I thought that was 13. I thought that was 16. And like, I see grown ass kids walking around outside. You're like, damn, you just got a big body. You just think you
right.
You don't know nothing. So but two is definitely that stage, and because there's obviously not to me enough consciousness yet or something, I could already see like, just like you don't really get what you're doing. And so I'm like, I'm not mad at you. I recognize you too. But I realize that there's enough of you that knows what you're doing where you are still trying to play me a little bit. I feel it.
Arya's like that. She's 3 now, but she's queen of clapbacks already.
Oh.
That girl, her mouth is very spicy.
Got you. That's fine. Yeah. See, I don't even know what to do about that.
But I think that's because she has an older sister and she imitates everything she hears or she sees, and then she puts it together with what she thinks works. So like yesterday, she was eating Cheez-Its, and she's so messy when she eats, and Anya's not. Anya sees the food, it goes in her mouth, you don't even see evidence. Arya's like, crackers. So I went over to the table, it was like cheese crackers everywhere. I'm just like, Arya, why you have to be so messy? This girl straight said, my name is Arya Wilder and I'm messy. That's just what I do. And she got up and she walked away. And I'm just like, shit, this is not how this works. Come clean this up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She's wild. She's wild, man.
Dude, all I'm trying to get you to do is turn this thing down a tad bit. You gotta have some kind of respect, my man. And stop screaming. That's like unnecessary. Okay.
Alright, so this is episode 11 of Cozy Womb, Black Fathers Matter series. We have Mike G.
Hola.
Say hello.
Hello.
Mike is like family for me, almost. Like work fam. I've known you for years, and then the fact that I've known you and Jazz to be together since the Land Before Time, and then now you guys have a kiddo, and I'm just like, perfect. I was like, I'm definitely asking him about this. So I'm just gonna dig into you and fatherhood and a little bit of your upbringing just to see how it coincides with each other. So what is your age currently?
All right, so I'm 35 years old. I'll be 36 later this year.
Nice. What age do you feel?
18.
That's what we want to hear.
I feel super young, but I'll say this, because my kid is 2, I feel like I'm 2.
You feel like you're 2?
I do. My mindset in even having a kid, I was like, man, this is amazing. I'm about to learn everything in life that I didn't get a chance to learn. I'm going to question everything that I didn't get a chance to question. You know, this is the time when you get that, even though you're not living it, you're kind of living it vicariously through your kid, but I feel like this is when you get that opportunity to kind of go learn the things that you didn't know in life before you were conscious. So I think I can probably remember back to 6 years old, 5 years old, very clearly. But anything before that, I don't have in my memory bank. Maybe certain things, maybe someone you met or a certain type of smell. So I was like, man, this is a perfect opportunity for me to figure out what happens in life in those first 5 years, you know? So
yeah,
every day I think I'm doing something with the mindset of a 2-year-old.
That lives, yes. Well, that kind of makes sense because you don't have to feel guilty about not knowing something about life as a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old, because you can always be like, oh, I'm trying to figure this out to see if it'll be something good for my son, or I'm trying to figure out if this would be a good idea, or you as a parent, how is this for your 2-year-old? So you don't want to feel like clueless about it, because if you didn't have kids and you was like questioning someone with their 2-year-old, they'd be like, son, get out my business. Yeah. So it's a constant learning thing with kids. And the scam is you go to school, you go to elementary, middle school, high school, and then you make a choice to go to college. And then once you finish with college, that is your break. The break is college, whatever you want to do, and then you have kids and you start all of that over. And then on top of like the new way they want to teach your kids. Not that it's going to give you new answers. It's going to give you the same answers, but with how they want to teach a new way. So if you don't learn it, it's kind of like you're choosing to fail yourself and your kid in the process. So it's a constant relearning thing. Crazy.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, it's even funny because I was talking to someone and I was telling them like, man, you know, like you said, me and Jai have been together since the Land Before Time, and I'm saying like, damn, if we would have had a kid then or early, we'd be like almost done now, or you know what I'm saying, we'd be like far along in that parenting process. And the reason why like I mentioned that is because I noticed like I got friends who have children that are teenagers, you know, and I feel like in terms of understanding life and understanding especially the parental thing, man, they've been giving out life lessons for the last 14 years. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I just started. I ain't even give one lesson yet, really. You know what I'm saying? My man, well, I don't know yet what he got from me, because he can't speak to me yet and can't talk back to me. So I'm just like, man, we kind of all get at different levels in life, even due to having children. You know, being a parent, you have a 5, to me, you're 5, you know, but yet to me, like my other friend, he's 14. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I look at it right now. So I feel like y'all are much older than me in life. You know what I'm saying? Even though we may be different ages or whatever.
We might be older and experienced, but you are always ahead of us as far as like opportunity for your kids. So like you might see the way that my kids go to school, and then by the time your son goes to school when he's like 4 or 5, he has bigger opportunities that my children didn't get at that age, which will further advance him. But the thing is, when you have kids, well, at least for me, I don't want any more kids, but I still get jealous of like the new strollers now for parents. Like, dang, like why didn't they have that? Like, dang, they got the skateboard on the back. They got this. Like, it advances every year, and it's kind of like, man, I wish I could go back and try that.
Okay.
I could go back and do this. So the thing is to enjoy the process, because you can't backtrack it. You can have another kid, but even when you have another kid, you're only going to have the opportunities at that time, at those ages.
Got you.
And then the next year is going to be like, dang, I wish they had that. So you just got to make the opportunity work in your favor, basically.
No, that's a bar. I love that type of advice, because that's what I always want. And you know, I don't want answers, but like I want that kind of cheat sheet, right? I want someone to say, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that. You just because that's like this, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now I get it. Now I understand what to expect, what the range of that could potentially be." And I think that helps me kind of make a new decision, you know, on whatever I'm doing at the time. So, like, I always tell my boy, like, I'm talking to him, I wish that I could remember some of the things that's happening with him and his kids, because when he's on the phone and he's parenting and I'm just listening in and I'm the fly on the wall, I'm like, yo, am I gonna remember this in 14 years from now? Like,
your kids probably won't need it in 14 years, depending on what they're being taught.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you can pick and choose what you want to hold on to and teach your kid, and then you can try to like flip it in your own way of teaching your kid. But the only thing that really matters is, are you being honest? Is it something that's going to improve them when you're not around? And can they teach it to somebody? Because your child doesn't get anything or understand anything unless they could teach it to someone else.
Yeah.
So if you just focus on those 3 things, you don't have to worry about, dang, did I miss the time when I was supposed to teach them this? You know, you just gotta.
And I know you gotta
pour into them.
You saying that right there just makes me feel like, damn. So if I can teach somebody something, then that means I got it. So like, see what I'm saying? Like, I don't. You're like, yo, if you can do this to your kid, then I'm like, okay, cool. So if I got that, I just teach him whatever I know. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm trying to learn, because now I'm learning from your parenting skills that you've learned over your past couple years, but also plus what your mom has taught you, you know? So I guess like, I love that. I don't know. I maybe I'm also new. I haven't had enough parental conversations yet, you know?
Yeah. I always tell people for Cozy Womb Podcast, it's all the parenting stuff that no book really tells you and is honest about. Like, people always glorify like pregnancy. Oh, it's wonderful. It is not wonderful. It's hijacking of your body for 10 to 12 months. It's not you have the baby and you're back to normal, because you're not. And it's a mind thing that messes up your mind a little bit, and then you like peel back a new layer of yourself. And then like you go through your changes, and then you realize what's different. Like, I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I still like to munch on ice. And then it goes away. Like, I have deodorant that I could use before I had kids that I can't stand now. So it completely gives you like this new you, and you have to learn how to live with it. And that's kind of like what parenting is. And you think you know your kids, and you don't really know them. You get to know them as they grow.
I'm so glad that I see that's that being a woman thing right there because, you know, is one of my friends told me, yo, Mike, he asked, he said, like, what, he said, do you, what do you want, a boy or a girl? And I was like, man, I kind of don't care, but I'll take the girl first because I wouldn't want my wife to, I don't want to have to go in a second time, you know what I'm saying, or a third time for a baby. So my thought was like, all right, if we have a girl first, that means that if we don't want another kid, we probably don't have to. And if we go back in, who cares? We might have a boy a second time, it's okay. Yeah. But at least my wife will get her daughter, her friend.
She really wants a girl?
She would love to have a girl.
See, that was one of my questions, but not yet. Was like,
Well, okay, we can come back to that, but I mean, you know what? Let's just come back to it because I got a lot to say about wanting a little girl.
Where were you born?
I was born in the Bronx, New York. I don't know if this matters, or maybe it's TMI, but I was born in Jacobi Hospital, I think, in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I only just say that because, like, you know, I love to always shout out that I'm from the hood, or like, you know, saying that, like, where I came from, just because, like, that's one of the things. I think maybe speaking to me, you might not necessarily get unless I tell you, because my, you know, the way that I've traveled in life, sometimes I think takes away. It may take away a little bit of some of the rawness.
Take away. It adds to like layers of who you are.
Well, yeah. So maybe I shouldn't use the word takeaway, but I definitely don't know if it'll be as easy to see. You know what I'm saying? If I don't tell you, and so I always make a point. It's kind of like when you go into a conference or something like that, and it's like, oh, what's your name? Mike Glover, Bronx, New York. Or you know what I'm saying? It'll be like that. Like, I'll take the extra time to just not put New York. Like, no. Don't give Manhattan the credit for this shit.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that in development, life development, that matters. But whatever.
I'll take it. First question for you. Growing up, my father made me feel what?
Growing up, my father made me feel like... Damn, what kind of hard-ass question. Growing up, my father... first thought. Growing up, my father made me feel like it doesn't really matter if you have a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the important part of the family structure to me. I felt like that growing up. And I didn't see the importance of it.
And how do you change that now in your fatherhood with your son?
I'm only applying curiosity to whatever I see. So, like, I'm interested in knowing him when he turns 20 and 35 and 50. So I want to know everything about him. So I'm only just being curious about his life. That's the only thing I think I'm doing right now. What does he need, right? Well, what things do babies need? I'm gonna try to see if I could get that. Or like, okay, cool. How do you compare this situation versus that situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of looking at things from the perspective of like, what is it that this person needs in order to thrive? Or I hate using the word thrive sometimes because I think it's tied to other shit. But yeah, what does this person need to become a self-sufficient adult? And how can I help him get there?
But that's like the key thing that most boys hate that they didn't know, is if their dad was ever curious or ever thought about them. So if you feel like the main thing that you're focusing on is curiosity with your son, that's a chunk of a lot of other things.
Yeah.
That's a lot of important things, because if you grow up in a world where people kind of like push you to the side, be like, okay, yeah, and then oh yeah, and him. Okay, I'm gonna take care of you because legally I have to. But nobody's actually questioning you on why you like this. What do you think about this? Or like, what are your favorite things? And just really just trying to get to know like your why as a kid growing up. You gotta grow up and become a man with a chip on your shoulder. So that curiosity is key in raising your son. So that's like a good thing. That's a good thing to look at.
Thanks. That's good. You know, I never thought of it that way. Because I never really thought about what I missed out on, right? I do think about what I missed out on in terms of life lessons. I do, but I don't blame. Well, I should say I no longer blame my parents for whatever they didn't give me or whatever I missed out on. So I never really considered how my dad's absence or just how I grew up, you know, thinking about my dad, how that affected me. I never really considered that. So even when you just asked the question, I was like, damn. But first thought, yeah, just being interested in my kid, because I did feel like my parents weren't interested in me enough. I think even now, I think my job is boring, and I think people are not interested in my job, which makes you less interested in me. But I'm like, damn, that's what makes me me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of how I think about that. So, you know, that was I'm just very curious about like, who is this? You know.
I think as your son gets older, you'll start to question yourself on, dang, I remember being like in a space of this, and I would like to ask my dad this if I was him. So I think you'll get like those small things, because I get them with my daughters, and it's kind of like I'll just call my mom up and be like, so in 1984 da, 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 da. And she'd be like, well, I don't remember that. And it's kind of like I'm picking an old lady's brain, but at the same time, it's kind of like I'm curious, because we're going to be like the most documented parents and grandparents.
I was just about to mention
but I can't look up like my grandma's tweet. I can't look up my mom's Facebook from when she was my age. So
when she complained about her kid in the same manner that you might be about yours.
Right. So it's gonna be really good for them. There'll be a constant learning experience, whether we're here or not. We're just there in writing. So
I mean, that's actually a bar right there. Just like having a constant learning experience, whether we're here or not, because you know, think about all the people we learn from who are not on the planet anymore. You know what I'm saying? Please do not ever let me get too deep in the convo, but like, well, because sometimes I start thinking of metaphor. Like after I say something, I'm like, man, there's another metaphor for that. Yeah, you know, like we let's just say we can pick and choose our theoretical hero, our family and heroes, right? We can pick people who help shape our lives, no matter, you know, just with their thoughts and what they may have left here. And like, that's huge to me. That like, I like released a song. Actually, I'm probably gonna try to, you know, resurface this weekend because of Father's Day. But the first song that I had to release, you know what I'm saying, on like iTunes and all that other stuff was like, I have to put this out because I can't allow my kid to be born and think that I didn't release things, like not have the thought of what I thought, you know what I'm saying, out in the world. Even if I don't speak to him for 18 years, 20 years of his life, there's gonna be a documentation of maybe how I felt about something or maybe what I thought, and he can like learn from that. You know, I got that from one of my friends who recently told me that. It's like, man, you know, if I never get a chance to speak to my kid, how would they know anything about me? And I'm like, yeah, word. You know what I'm saying? So 3 years ago, when I was like, man, I could call my boy, like, yeah, we gotta do this song. Like, it's perfect. It's a father-son moment. And I was like, this is my first baby. You know what I'm saying? My kid is my first physical baby, you know what I'm saying? But my first baby is what, you know what I'm saying, what I have to contribute and what I can leave for him, you know, things like that.
Yeah. I was telling somebody that we can basically send a message to our great grandchildren right now, and we would probably never meet them. You know what I'm saying? Like, encourage them now in your writing and your whatever you want to express now, and they can just look it up later on.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's fine. I'm back.
How did it feel hearing the news that Jazz was pregnant for the first time?
So,
and how did she tell you?
So I'll tell this story because I think this story probably explains a little bit how I feel, because I don't know how I felt. You know, obviously I was excited, but to be honest with you, man, we were married and we had already put in 18 years at this point.
A whole human being?
So we could have already had a kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just started our 20-year run again. You know what I mean? We got it's so crazy because it literally brought new life into our relationship. Mm-hmm. In two ways. That's just like a double entendre, because like literally in the form of a baby, and then figuratively in the form of like we just got cool again. Like it's like you fall back in love again. So I would say like the way I felt immediately was like excitement, like new beginning, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like we hit the octave and was coming back around for like, you know what I'm saying? The next one, and that shit felt good. And so the first text that I sent her when she told me she was pregnant was like, you know, like a soccer dude. It's like, God. That shit was the ultimate score. Like, you know what I mean? Also, I hate to say did everything right, but we kind of followed all of the traditional rules that we thought we were supposed to play by, right? Like boy meet girl, we were cool for a long time, live our 20s, and then get married finally and settle down. So, I mean, even though we were together the whole time, we still sort of like kept separation throughout our younger years. So the story was we had friends who were getting married, and they were preparing for their wedding, and my homeboy was like, man, can you be my accountability partner on the gym level? I'm like, hell yeah, we could go to the gym. Let's get this going. We start taking some kickboxing classes. He's like, yo, me and wifey's going, so we could do a couple kickbox date weekly, and we could just meet up and we can go, you know, exercise together. It's like, perfect. You know, I'm down for that. So signed up. We all start going to kickboxing. So we in there pretty consistently, and now weeks and weeks are going by, and we like, man, we really doing this. So one day, Jazz is like, yo, like I think we might have took a break or something, but then she came back with like, yo, it's just rough. I'm like, yo, that's nothing. You know, it's always a little bit rough when you start getting back in the workout. You know what I mean? You're gonna feel a little nervous. I'm like, I felt like I wanted to vomit last week too. It's all good. She's like, nothing. I was like, Jazz is like looking at me real crazy, like, yo, my husband's retarded, and so she's like, no, I'm feel like this is not. I was working out too hard. That's not what's happening. So she's like, maybe I'm pregnant. I'll go take a test. So then I was like, oh, I didn't even consider the pregnant part. I'm like, yeah, you think so? And then immediately we looked at each other like, oh yeah, we know the day that happened. You know what I'm saying? So when we finally thought about that, then it just flipped into, we're definitely pregnant. Like we both at that point, I think, felt, yeah, this is definitely going down. So then we just got really excited about it. So she goes home, takes her test, takes a couple, you know, like women always take like a million tests, but they're like, no, I'm trying to be sure. Like, I don't trust science. So she took a couple of tests. It was they came positive. So we were excited. I will say we had thought about a baby before that. So we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, but we had already had an idea in mind of how we would lay out the whole space to welcome and accommodate a baby, even at the drop of a dime. Because we like, look, we're married, it's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So after she finally gets in touch with the doctor, we go check it out. Now the shit's official. Because me, I don't like to get excited early. So I'm always like, hey, if it remains true and we'll see the doctor, then we can get excited. But we're going to hold all of our emotions until then, right? So we go check out the doctor. Shit's official, man. And it's like, that's when the process starts, right? That's when the woman has to, at that moment, her whole life changes. For the guy, you just starting to, you know, again, I didn't go to the doctor much growing up, you know, outside of my mom taking me to the pediatrics and stuff. So at this point, I'm in my 30s and I'm looking around like, hold up. So now I got to start being in the doctor's office more often. So now you're starting to see the sonogram. So now I'm over analytical. I'm looking at all of the machines like, all right, I'm going to make sure I see some of the same shit when I get back. Like, you know, I just turned into that, like I said, that curiosity of what is about to happen. Like, so at that moment, I was like, I got 20 years minimum of all of this shit. What is it? And I'm just trying to soak it in at that point. So excitement, curiosity, and, you know, just kind of like that. I don't know, how do you explain that feeling of joy and love that you get, like when you get either engaged or when you go to someone's wedding, or like your tear ducts ain't leaking, but they tingling, you know what I mean? Like that kind of, like, maybe you describe it as butterflies, but you feel the butterflies all over. That sort of feeling, it just was like, I guess that thrill of excitement of like, shit, what's about to happen, you know?
First thing, kickboxing is no joke. In New York, I did it with one of my best friends, and they gave us the 3 first classes for free. And then we had to start like a membership. We only made it to 2, because when I tell you, our bodies were like, don't touch me, don't make me laugh, don't nothing. I still have the boxing gloves to this day. We never went back for the 3rd free class.
That's hilarious. There's a few of those classes too. The intense ones.
It's crazy. What do you see as far as his personality that is Jazz, and what do you see as far as his personality that is you?
I am so glad you asked that, because that's what I'm looking for every single day. Every day I'm looking for something recognizable in my or her DNA. Like, and physically, he looks like Jazz. Like, that's instant. You immediately. But then if you know Jazz and you know her family, you start seeing, I see her dad in there now because I know him. You know, I see her grandmother a lot, which she's the OG of the look. You know what I mean? They all look like her. He don't look like Jazz. He looks like his great grandmother. So, I see those things physically. He has my brother's toes, right? Like, and maybe he has sort of like he has my brother's I would say, like, my mom says this. My mom says he acts like my brother in terms of like his fearlessness. So says like he gets that from there. I can immediately see how much he gravitates towards making music and recognizing the music though. Like, so I have a video of my nephew doing a song in my house, just spur of the moment. He just busts out with a song. Like, he grabs the keyboard, he's playing keys, and he's trying to rap and play at the same time and sing a song. And I see Miles in the picture. If you're not focusing on my nephew, you see Miles in the background passing him the microphone at 7 months. It's like, yo, he understands what's supposed to happen. I'm not in the house recording all day long. Like, this is not being beaten into his head in any kind of way. He literally he gets the concept of some things that I do. He loves and he gravitates towards it. So literally he's trying to make beats every single day on the iPad. Or his phone. So he has his own iPhone. And so I put all the programs on there because I don't want him using mine. So your man will be on there like, Dad, I make the beats. You're like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? It feels good. And he gets the concept. He knows how to use the MPC in terms of he knows where things are, right? He's not programming beats for real. But if you like, yo, where's the kick drum? He can press the button, but he associates the color with the sound. Mm-hmm. Well, that's how it's set up on there purposely, not for him, but for adults to recognize it. And he's gravitating towards that. Personality wise, I see him, I'm a guy who stares off into space. I'm a deep thinker, and I try to look at things from a lot of different angles. I feel like I already see him thinking about something, but because he can't say it yet, I don't know what those different angles are, and then I think he's also one of those, like, the annoying kid in the classroom who's the overachiever, who has to raise his hand for every single question and has to be a little bit obnoxious to actually answer the question.
Yeah.
That's me. I know I'm like that. I know people didn't like that. It's like, yo, are you a fucking know-it-all? And it's like, no, I'm not. I was working hard at trying to memorize shit, and I just wanted to exercise it. It wasn't this to nobody else. But I think he does that. So he has books, like tracing letters and tracing number books. And
so important.
Yeah, but he feels like he got it already. So he went through the whole book. He goes through one letter at a time. He doesn't write A 25 times like you're supposed to on paper. He'll write A, then he wants to go to B, and then every day he'll do a new letter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. Mm-hmm. I can't hate on him. I'm not even trying to be too strict because he's 2. But now your man has gotten to the point where he was like, I'm done with the pencil. Let me trace it with this red marker. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get my line. Like, just so y'all really know. Because my mom be trying to erase it when I make a mistake. No. I need this to be official. So, he has that type of behavior. And I'm like, that's me. You know what I'm saying? He's also very organized. He picks that up from Jazz, probably, because her grandmother's like that. She's like that. So... yo, your man don't got no problem cleaning up all the toys.
That's good for a boy, especially.
Clean up. Like, it's time to go to bed. He's like, okay, come on, daddy, clean up. And he wants to sing the song and go at it, So, maybe some of those things.
I have one kid that's a slob, Aria. She thinks that I don't clean up. That Anya's job. That's her. And then Anya's like, I'm gonna show me how to use the broom. Can I mop? Can I wash the dishes? No, you cannot wash my dishes because I'm not washing the dishes twice. So
she's the 6-year-old?
6 and 3.
Wait, who's older?
Anya.
Anya's older, okay.
Yeah. So, but Aria, she just thinks that she's elite in here. I'm just like, you're not elite. You still got to do the same thing everybody else does. And she was like, Anya, you do it. Mommy said you. I'm just like, girl, clean up the room. Both of y'all clean up the room, but that's her.
Well, I got a question for you then about that. I'm not the question asker, but well, do you think that that's because since she was the youngest and y'all were doing stuff when she could only lay there, that she was just looking at y'all do stuff, so she's like, okay, they do this, and so she looks at that as sort of y'all role?
I think because between my house and her dad's house, she's the baby at her dad's house. There's a 17-year-old, she has a 14-year-old sister, his girlfriend is there, and him. And it's a 3-level house with a dog. So all the toys are hers. All this space is mine. I have my own chair in the kitchen. And then when she come here, it's like, you eat at the same chairs we eat at. Share a room with your sister that's close to you. She likes to play with the same toys you like. And you have to share the TV. You don't have your own TV. Yeah. And she like...
Yeah.
I'm just like, girl, you just gonna have to learn how to balance it all. And I think for me, that's important because I'm one of 5. I was the youngest and I was the only girl. So I did share some things, but a lot of the things were mine. But at the same sense, her dad is the only child and he doesn't have it. Well, he has siblings on his dad's side, but he's not close to him. But he's used to like, this is mine. people cater to me. If you don't like it, leave me alone. And
Yeah.
she has a lot of that with her. I'm just like, girl, that don't work over here. So I'm just trying to balance her out, but
That's funny.
work in progress. What do you think makes you a great dad?
I don't know. I feel like my kid is gonna have to tell me that whenever I'm done. But
You're never done.
well, yeah. I mean, I guess until he's not have to live in my house. But
Yeah.
I'll say, like, I think what would make me a great dad, or what will make me a great dad, if as long as I can be consistent at it, is I think I need to try to find understanding in what my kid needs to be successful. And again, my idea of success is self-sufficient adult, right? Like, I just want to make sure that if my man is like, yo, dad, I think I want to paint naked chicks, that he literally not becomes Picasso, but has the opportunity to think as free as that, and to be able to not feel like there's a ceiling or a limit or a restriction to where he can go with whatever that idea is. Now, obviously, I don't want my kid to be out here harming people, but in the situation of whatever he thinks he wants to do, like, I'm just trying to be down to be like, I think I'm a good dad as long as I'm supportive, you know. And I think sometimes we don't know what that word support means as a parent, but as long as when he says, hey, I'm interested in this and I want to do this, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me think of some of the things that he can't possibly be thinking about right now. Like, where to start figuring that out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not just practicing things. Sometimes it's the formal education and the formal process of it that'll allow you to, you know, kind of flourish at it. So just want to pay attention to him and whatever he's doing and help him get there. Be sort of like some, you bowl and you put up the gutter rails. I'm the gutter rails.
Support for kids for a parent is like, is literally like them being in front when you know you want to be in front to protect and guide, but you got to let them be in front to find their answers, and just like hold them up while they're in front so they don't fall back and retreat and doubt themselves. You have to kind of like watch them make their mistakes, because that's what they can learn from. And you gotta, even if you see them making a wrong decision or a decision you wouldn't want to make, you gotta support them on the decision they want to make. Because the ending result is probably gonna be them learning that somebody else was right, or mom, you were right, or dad, you were right. I tried it this way and it didn't work like you told me, but you gave me the space to make up my decision. And it's a lot of that. So the thing is knowing when to step over and step back and just support from the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope that I'm equipped for that, because so on my job, I'm a manager to a team of people, right? But not only that, the type of role that I play is a support role. Like I do AV, so I'm always constantly helping people to achieve what they're trying to do, whatever their goal is. So if you come to me and you say, hey, Mike, I got an event, I want to talk a little bit, but I want to show these things on the screen. And when I'm doing this, but when I get to this point, I got a cue, right? I have to compile all that information and say, okay, cool. I see what you want to do. You want to do this type of event. I can frame it for them a little easier and like kind of shrink it down to them. Like you said, if I can explain it to someone else and I know it. Mm-hmm. So I'm at that point where I'm just like, okay, I play that support role daily, you know, like I'm constantly, people like, oh, how do you connect to a WebEx and a da-da-da-da-da? And what if I want to put audio in my Zoom call? And it's like, I got to figure those things out for people. So I hope that skill set helps me out with what you're talking about as a parent, because I want to be able to, like you said, sit behind him and still lead him, you know what I'm saying? Be able to really just hold him into a place where he can kind of achieve everything he wants, where it's all about him, but like my role is helpful. So if I got to make the website and everything else and put all your pictures up front,
Yeah.
I already know how to do that now.
Right.
You Gucci.
What health changes have you made since becoming a dad?
I made all of the health changes in the world. Like I went to the doctor for the first time because I went to the doctor for the first time when I got married. I went again when my wife was pregnant. The first time was because I'm like, yo, I'm like, it probably sucked it. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, you're gonna change it? The first time I went was because I was like, man, I can't be marrying somebody and then like croak over. And then
Thank you.
It was like, I can't have a kid in this world who's not he can't see me not going to the doctor and he's going. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna build any foundation in him, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what to do. If I'm the example, I gotta be the example all the way around. I gotta care about my health the much I care about his health because I gotta be here. So changes, man, drinking hella water because that's just you make the beats. So just drinking mad water, man, and just because I feel like that's just that's the most important thing in the world. So it's like, okay, hold on one second. Oh, now you want to say hi because you want to listen to me? You see what you're doing right there? That's not cool. No, where's your phone? What are you doing now? See, he's trying to hit that snare drum. Here you go, bro. I totally forgot what I was thinking. Health, right? Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I try to like just I'm conscious of what I intake now. I don't want to make no bold claims to some shit that I can't live up to. But at least at the bare minimum, just being very conscious about things that I do, not just health wise, like food and what you intake mentally, like, you know what I'm saying? What am I doing? Like, what's my mental diet like? You know what I mean? That's important as well. So trying to read books and just educate myself on things that I want to know, not being fearful of wanting to, having questions and things like that.
Yeah. I just did an episode with Frank, and Frank is just like running, a trainer, juicing. I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say this, man. I think there's things that I started, like one of my friends, Osaka, he got me into like riding bikes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was not doing that before I met him. And I'm so thankful for adding that to my life now because my kid is now riding, but like now he wants to ride his bike every day.
Yeah.
And that's just encouraging because now I have somebody to ride with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now I got a fitness rider partner already because I think he's, if he things to gravitate towards that again. These things I didn't know I was missing growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm just finding out for the first time myself. I not have a relationship with my dad, so I didn't even know what it is to have I don't even know what it's like to have a relationship with another dude, really, besides my brother. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, damn, maybe I didn't give my brother enough time,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, I see those little things too, man. Like those are things that's gonna be dope. Like I'll have somebody do push-ups with, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Age,
And he gonna keep you in shape, and you gotta keep him in shape and keep him on target because you know what he's headed to.
Yeah.
And he gonna just keep your spirit young, keep your body young, and you're mentally like on target.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the music helps with that part, right? Because the music is gonna give you sort of that, constantly give you. I might be botching this word, so don't even if I say it wrong, get it? But like, I think it's cognitive friction that your brain gets, right? When you have to kind of decipher between two different things sometimes. So like the music, I think will probably keep his brain sharp in that too. Think that matters. The reading books and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, she said something else and I lost my whole entire train of thought. God. Anyway, figured it. I lost it. But you were saying staying fit, and I'm like, yo, dog, like. So I played myself and became a horsey one day. And
the back.
Son, you get tired in one lap.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna be fit if I gotta keep that because they're gonna keep getting heavier every day.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
That's some shit.
Arya is still she needs my heartbeat to sleep like solid, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I sleep hard because I'm usually up late, or I usually have to get up early, and she'll just come in my room and you're sleeping like really hard, and then you wake up to like this heavy weight on your chest, and it's a whole human being. I'm just like, when did you get in here? Like, this is creepy. So Saturday mornings I'll be out here watching TV, and she'll just drunkenly like come out in the living room and just like lay on me. And I'm short. I'm 5 foot, probably 5'2" on my license is a lie. And her legs are longer, so from like her head being on my chest, she comes down to my knee already at 3, and it's kind of like, okay, I know my girls are going to be way taller than me.
Wow. Yeah.
At the same time, they're heavy. Like, you wouldn't think little people are this heavy. They're heavy. Like, I can't even pick up Anya if she falls asleep in the room. I just leave her where she at. My back won't do it. Yeah.
I think about that as a dad. I think I have the advantage right there physically because I'm bigger than my wife, and my kid's proud. I think he's tall now. Like every day I look at him, I'm like, yo, I don't know if you're the right height. Like
there is no right height, especially.
No, I mean, yeah, but he just seems long to me, and I'm just like, yo, this dude's gonna be kind of big. Like, but again, I think that's where like I come in as dad to my son, like, yo, you can't overpower your mom because I can be right here, right? Or like from the perspective of like, yeah, just like you just said, like he might be a little heavy. I think there's gonna be just days where either, you know, she might have a heel on, she's not gonna be able to run after him, or she might, you know what I'm saying? Like he might just be heavy and I might need to pick up that extra weight, you know what I'm saying? And those days, they happen now. Like when you get that sleep out the car.
Oh yeah.
No. God. Hey, everybody is a little tired for that.
Listen, imagine coming in late after whatever event, having bags, and then knowing you have to go back to the car to pick up 2 bodies, not 1 body, 2 bodies.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Trust me, I'm almost upset at myself for not going back in already and going for number 2 because I'm like, God, like, yo, we gotta start this over again. This is a 3-year process.
My whole goal was at least 5 years apart, and I made it to 3.
That's awesome.
So, if you think about it, you don't want to have 2 kids in high school. You want to have 2 kids going to college at the same time. So I try to like space them out a little bit. Not saying that they have to go to college. Anya and I already had that discussion.
What?
But, she asked me, she was like, do I have to go to college? I was like, no. I feel like college importance was a wave at one time. And then now how society and technology is so far ahead past where college is right now. And college just keeps getting more expensive. And we are like the consumers, but we are also the product. And then once you graduate, our diploma becomes a product. But a lot of jobs really now want to know what your experience is, what you can do. The degree is kind of like, okay, we see that you can commit to something and be consistent, but what can you do? So I think I would more so be willing to pour into a passion of hers, a business of hers, and a trade of hers versus college.
You sound like Bo and Andre Johnson right now. They just give I don't know if you watch Blackish, but I think they just gave what's his name, Devontae. Devontae is going to like an alternative like school for kids who just kind of like maybe a little bit more artsy.
Yeah.
Like a fucking baby conservatory or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's actually interesting, man. I think that's a dope take. Personally, you know, I went to college. I decided I was finished, and I don't look back at that as a bad thing. But what I hate the most is that it's crazy. I feel like even getting there freshman year, right? You meet a lot of people. So I feel like I met a lot of people who I don't even want to say lose contact with. Like I'm Facebook friends with the people that I met in college. They might know me for the way they knew me then, but can still follow me, like you're talking about technology. So that's very important, your network and the people you can kind of get around. Like I don't necessarily like all of them or, you know, rock with everybody, you know, but that's just my own personal theories in life about certain stuff. But when it comes to college, I tell my brother all the time, like I look at college as the thing that you decide to learn that you'll use as your skill for life, to make money or whatever. Because in the societies that we grew up in, you're gonna have to have a money making skill, right? So to me, even like for me, my skill is audio engineering. I get to be an audio engineer all the time, whether it's live in the studio, on a computer, any way possible, I'm gonna do that. Even if I'm standing in the back and just telling somebody, yo, play your instrument a little bit quieter. I'm trying to work on that. And I feel like college, I didn't know that in college, that I even wanted to do that, you know what I mean? But I was interested in media and stuff and entertainment already. So college was like, yo, take mass communications. Well, that's exactly what I should be doing at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? But what college, I think, doesn't teach you in some ways, it might be too open, or maybe me just needing more guidance, no one taught me, yo, this is how you free college if you're not into college, right? So I think that means something, because I don't want to get caught up in college being all about the education part, when, like you said, the way we can learn is different. We don't need that. But what you do need is you need freedom of thought, and you need freedom of like where you're gonna go the next day, like not having to, you know what I'm saying? You need that type of freedom on a day-to-day basis. So that's why you need to go to college, in my opinion. And you need to build a community of people who are like-minded with you in ways. So I was in Mass Comm. Was I doing enough projects in Mass Comm? Whereas I would have been meeting more people who's still in my field to this day. You know what I'm saying? And there's people like that. I mean, there's a lot of people, I see people on TV that I went to college with, like freshman year, we got in school at the same time. I see people, you know, with successes in different areas. And then likewise, I'm still doing my thing that I was interested in, even though that's not exactly what I was doing when I was in school. It's still my related skill. It's still what I've combined, you know, with all the rest of my knowledge with, you know what I'm saying? I met people doing this stuff when I went to college. That is the one part that I missed out on. That's why college is super important to me. So when my kid asks, well, do I have to go to college? I'm like, look, you don't need to go to college if you don't want to. But if you want to take advantage of being able to meet a lot of people to be able to meet you, right? And get what you have to offer. If you're gonna go to college because you want to, I look at it as workshop too, college, right? Like, you know, you have a class where you're like, man, I take the science class, but the lab is better because it's more hands-on.
Yeah.
You're like, college is that hands-on life experience, the conversations that you get into in the cafeteria, the conversations that you know, bump into, you start learning how to talk to girls. You need enough girls with enough freedom and enough variety so that you can figure out which one of them you like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That shit takes time. You know what I'm saying? For some people. So So at the end of the day, college is all of those things to me more than it is the knowledge of the information that you're receiving, because all the information you're receiving synonymously, unanimously has been bullshit. You know what I'm saying? To like most people.
Yeah.
Like my homeboy, like we got a so my group Luxury Crumb, my boy Will, he got a line where he says, damn, I'm about to botch this too because I wasn't prepared. He says, oh no, I've never graduated from none of your school, sir. So no thanks to you, sir. I'm an articulate, ubiquitous, cerebral lyricist, mentally militant, ambitious, and ambivalent, or some shit. He says mad other SAT words, but the point I'm trying to make is like that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like Jay-Z said, no Harvard student just had the balls to do it, right? It's like you don't need school for the information and the knowledge. You need it for the network and the life experience if you can get it out of there. But if you're going in there for, I think, maybe only the information and the knowledge, you might come out disappointed. But that, I'm saying that for somebody who went to school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What was I gonna say? You need to watch this documentary called The Ivory Tower.
Text me that. Is it on Netflix?
No, it's not on Netflix.
Okay.
It should be online. You should be able to watch it on YouTube, I think.
When people give recommendations, they gotta hit that share button.
I'm gonna send it to you once we're done.
And I'm saying that because my kid got my phone and I can't just type it into Safari. Safari is my now you write a note down like a oh, don't forget this note.
Yeah.
Safari is, I said Safari. Yeah, Safari on my iPhone is what I use for that. Like, I always just, as soon as somebody says something, I just write it into Safari and then I just make a new page and that's quick. So I got a bunch of pages open to everything I'm supposed to look up.
I always have hella pages open, but I like sticky notes. I'm like queen sticky notes. I got sticky notes everywhere.
I can't think those.
I like actual factual. What is your biggest strength so far as a dad?
Again, you be asking me questions that I feel like somebody else gotta tell me.
Like something you have like in the bag, you don't have to.
Yeah, nah. Like a quick answer I would say is like my ability to find understanding. So like I'm gonna be looking at my kid every time he's doing something. I'm trying to figure out why is he doing it and like what's the motive and what's driving him. So like right now, right, he's singing a song on the thing, and I hear him singing the song, but he keeps grabbing at the microphone. If I wasn't paying attention to him, I'd be like, stop doing that. You're gonna mess that up. He wants to sing. See? Daddy, I can't see. He wants to sing. So he wants the mic to be closer to him so he can feel more comfortable. And then he's practicing his singing. So now my job as a dad, I think, is to turn the speakers on and turn the microphone on so he can hear himself through the reverb, because that's going to give him confidence to sing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what I'm supposed to do.
Good.
Like literally, I think that's what I bring to the table as a dad, is like, if this is his interest and I know how to do this part, make sure I set top him and make sure I support him. So the producer, I'll turn this down. So I'm the producer. As a support person, you're a little loud though. See, he's getting a little too confident, but I need him to do that. I need him to give me that.
Yeah.
But again, so as a producer, as a support person, I know he wants to sing. All I do is put the mic on him. What's gonna give him some confidence, some reverb. He don't know that about the reverb. I know the reverb, so I gotta apply it.
But he'll learn it the more you.
And so when someone else is not giving him reverb, he gonna be like, something's missing. This is too dry. He should have an opinion. Yeah, exactly. So, but and I think as a dad, that's what I'm supposed to do. In terms of support, that's what that means to me. You know, like he wants to keep singing. You can keep singing. Let's give him headphones. it's 9 o'clock. Like, he ain't supposed to be doing this right now. And I'm like, oh, right. Like, you feel me? Because I get carried away. Because again, I'm 2. I'm not 35.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about what he wants to do right now. Yeah, I just said that that's what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know, maybe. But I'm also supposed to listen to the mom, and because she's the one who's the nurturer, she knows better in that regard, and not just knows better, but when she's focusing on that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can be the fun person. If maybe she needs a break, then I gotta know enough,
Yeah.
over there to cover that. So, he's banging himself up. He's at that age right now. He's just popping up with a new knot every day and a new injury. Like, dog, you didn't see.
Boys. My youngest brother at the hospital in Philly used to know him by first name. Like, oh, what did you swallow tonight?
Yeah.
That's my brother. You and T had boys first. Do you think your second kid would be a girl?
I pray. I don't even want to put it in the air and jinx myself. I would love to have a daughter on the second kid if I can. Thank you. I would love to have a daughter on the second one, just because I want to be able to get the variety in life. I want to be able to understand women, and girls from that age. We getting into this convo, but I feel like I already know everything it is to be a boy. I went through that process from as far back as I can remember. Everything he's going through right now, I'm learning for the first time. But by the time he hits 5 years old, dog, I got this. Like, now I got all the answers for you. I don't have the answer for what you'll need in the future, but boom, girls, I have no freaking clue. I don't know anything. And the thing is, girls is not scary to me. It's even more interesting to me because I'm looking at y'all like, well, women keep just popping up with new bodies every couple of years. That's some shit to learn every couple of years. So even for a dad, you got to be in your P's and Q's and carrots from early about that. Women start learning about health and going to the doctor damn near junior high school. You know what I'm saying? You, as a requirement for survival, you know what I'm saying? You're learning that as a requirement for survival. You're learning that you got to protect yourself against predators. These are not things that you like have to be taught as a boy.
Yeah.
You have to be taught this as a woman, no matter what class system you grow up in, or what. I guess I don't know. I'm just thinking of like, damn, this is a lot. So because we don't have those things, I think it's a little easier for us, right? You have a boy, teach him how to shake, flush, and he's Gucci. Whatever. Girls, you got, this grown ass man and this little ass boy is all gonna try to fuck you. So protect your vagina. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's scary. Yeah. But again, like, I'd be up for that challenge right now because I think the way I think of the world might be cool. You know what I'm saying? For my daughter. Like, I don't know. But I definitely would love to have a little girl in the next one, and then I know that I'm done. I don't gotta go in no more. Yeah. If I have a boy again, there's a potential that I may end up with 3 kids in my life. I don't necessarily.
That's what I thought with Ari. And when the nurse called me and she was like, "Are you sure you want to know the sex?" I was like, "Yes." And I was at work, and she was like, "It's a girl." I was like, "Get off my phone!" And I just hung up in her face. I was pissed. I was pissed my whole shift. I'm just like, man, I made the whole registry like unisex, more so towards a boy, and it was another girl. I was so hurt. So I'm not doing a third. I'm just like, you know what? The creator has had enough jokes on me.
Well, is it because you don't want to end up with a girl again?
Yes.
Oh wow. So it's not even because I don't know how you're doing shit solo. Like, I mean, I know, like, yeah, because that's it, but I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo, dog, I don't want like a couple of hours solo.
Girls, like, if you're a woman and you're a mom, your daughters are like 10 times who you were at their age. And then I have 2 different personalities of me, 10 times who I was.
Jesus.
So
and it's more magnified because you're the primary. You're the primary. I don't even know. You're like the primary see the personality. So they're going to your personality pool more times than they're going to dad's personality.
Yeah.
So they're getting not only your DNA personality, but they're also getting your physical, like your nurturing, your everyday habits, and yeah, you just got two mirrors. You live in a house of mirrors.
Listen, it's so horrible. I'm just like, man, like Anya, why you always have to talk about fart? Like, because I just like it. And then to me, I'm just like, I'm such a hypocrite, because for me, my mom wanted this girly girl after having 4 boys. Yeah. And then I came out and I'm just like a tomboy. Like, I hate the dresses you make me. I don't want to wear that. I don't like stockings. And I like to fart on cue. That's like my thing in the house. And so she was just like I can't do it anymore. Yeah. But I used to be able to, like, my brother used to walk up to me and be like, Chantal, fart. Done, gone. Do it in a certain way, gone. It's just like, my mom be like, that's not ladylike. I'm just like, man, screw that. Like, stop putting this girl ship thing on me. It's not me. And then just like women, just to know that for me, before I even had my daughters, I'm carrying their kids. Mm-hmm. I'm carrying my kids' kids. And that's crazy, to be one person carrying multiple generations of other women. So for me to have 2 girls, it's just like, man, what I do now affects so many people that I don't even know. So I have to do it right. This is crazy. And
what do you think is right? Because I don't know, what does that mean?
Right is like your best. Because anything you do as a parent, a child or both of your children is always going to feel like, you didn't do enough of this for me. You didn't do enough of that for me. When I have kids, I'm going to do more of this because this is what I missed from you. So I try, like, to come out my comfort zone and make sure, like, Chantal, did you hug the girls today? Yes or no? I don't know. Go do it. Did you tell them that you loved them today? Yes or no? Did you read to them today? Yes or no? So it's like your priorities that you have to do on top of the things you want to make sure you pour into them, on top of you-ness. You got to take care of you on top of all those other things. And it's kind of like, yesterday was my first break away from them since mid-March.
Jesus Christ.
So like every day, every night, it was me and them. Going to the store, it was me and them. Going to the park, it was me and them. Even when I go to the bathroom, they're in the bathroom. So, and even with me being at work, I felt mad guilty because while I'm at work, you guys got to be at camp because I already paid for it before this quarantine stuff, with mask on the whole time you at camp. Because I gotta work. So it's like you feel this guilt that your kids gotta be with strangers and just like in the element because you gotta work. But I'm just trying to make sure I cover all bases of the basics. And then the things that I really want to pour into them, just make sure I make an extra effort to do that. But they're always going to feel like you could have done more in this, because my mom to everybody seems like the mom to have, like the perfect mom to have. But if you ask me, what did I need out of my mom? I can tell you something that I didn't get. So it's just, it depends on the kid.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, that's actually one of those things where I feel like, I mean, we have that struggle too because we both work from home. Mm-hmm. So I mean, trust me, like it's not the same, some struggles people have. So I'm very fortunate and I can understand that. But because we get to work from home, mm-hmm. it's actually super duper hard because there's age.
Yeah.
So we're having this problem where it's like, all right, we are trying to do anything. Mm-hmm. And then we constantly going to get interrupted because he's not gonna sit down by himself because there ain't no other kid here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we felt that on all day, on all night thing. And me, I really feel it because before having a kid, I'd wake up at odd hours, be able to work on some stuff and do things. But now it's like I'm so tired because you just live in a perpetual state of tiredness as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm so tired that if I gotta put him to bed, I might fall asleep and I might not recover. So before I put him to bed, I just think like, damn, I'm probably gonna either wake up at 2:00 in the morning, or not at all, or I'll be sleeping in a toddler bed in the most uncomfortable position possible, you know, just to keep him comfortable. And then as soon as I get out the bed, I'm like, all right, cool, let me go do something for myself. Let me go watch. I can't watch movies or nothing because it's like, what time am I going to do any of this stuff really when I got to work on top of if I got a creative project? So it'll be like coming up to a situation where I'm like, man, if I get out the bed or if I leave him alone, then he wakes up. Or he'll wake up midnight, you know what I'm saying? He feel like he wakes up like 4 hours later and then wants to go back to sleep, you know, either in our bed or whatever. I got to deal with that at that moment. So it's like, shoot. Like, I know I'm about to go to sleep right now. I'm probably not going to wake up until the middle of the night. And then when I wake up and try to sneak out, he's going to wake up again. It's like, damn, you just no time to yourself. Like,
why is being a father to a Black boy vital today?
because you have the opportunity right now to start changing the narrative from now to the rest of history. This is the moment where things change. When we started quarantine, I was telling everybody like, yo, this is year zero. And I kind of got laughed out the room a couple times because I used the term year zero. Probably sound like Space Force to motherfuckers. But like, the reality is that I was saying that to say that this is just a new beginning, right, for everybody. And I think like, because there's a certain level of awareness, this type of scrutiny that we'll be under because of discrimination, you know what I mean, is going to be high. I mean, I think Michael Jordan probably felt that, which is why he probably went so hard. His parents probably tried to make him do that. And I think that every couple of years where there are these small revolutions, this happens. But I think this time is different because it's documented, right? The revolution is now not televised. He was right. It's mobilized. Mm-hmm. And that's the very difference in what I see about it. And so I think that's the reason why it's the most important. Why it's important now is because, you know, you get the opportunity to change the narrative right now. And I think I may have already been the change in my family. So how do you get to see the results of that? Yeah. You don't get to see it through my kid. So if the change started in 1984, well, you know what I'm saying, maybe you get the opportunity to see that flower blossom now, you know what I mean, or in 20 years even from now, based on the spark of change that happened when I was born. So that's what I think is just important, man. Just being able to grow someone or help someone grow in an environment where they get to be a part of the difference. There's no doubt in my mind, these kids right now for the next, that, you know, born in the last 2 years and you know, around this time period, they are the difference, because we will never see the results of this until like 20 years from now. They have to be adults first. They have to be able to vote. We have to see what those decisions are in 20 years. To me, in order to see if change works. We would never know if any of this worked until we get to see them vote. Yeah. Because they're not affected, right? They're not even in elementary school hearing nothing. They're not bringing any baggage with them. They're starting fresh.
Right. How do you feel? How does your son make you feel appreciated?
Every time I come home, it's like a big ass daddy. Like you just get greeted with that. You just get greeted with like, daddy. But then besides that, yo, look, memorizing things that I taught you already. Like the fact that he's riding his bike, I feel like, damn, I did something. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just helped someone. Or, you know, I know it's my kid. I know I made him, but it's like he's gravitating towards things that I'm showing him. Like, you know, anything, man. Like if when he says, "Yo, I want to make a beat," I feel appreciated. I feel like he's the only person who gives a fuck about me in that kind of way, who cares about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's no my wife or my mom, like, cause they're close, you know, with me too. Mm-hmm. They're close with me too, in that kind of way. But he wants to do it, which gives me someone who has interest in something that I have interest in. You know what I mean? Which is something I have not grown up with. You know, so I feel appreciated every time that happens. Like, he's interested in me. Like, you know.
That's good. Well, since you just 2 years into it, I'm gonna check back with you again to see if anything changed. But before you go, I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day that's coming up.
Gracias.
And just like thank you for being the supportive father that wants to like pour into your kids' interests, because that's super important. That gives them that confidence that they need when you're not around.
Yeah.
So appreciate that.
For sure. No doubt. I didn't ask you though. Did you grow up with your dad, or like what's your relationship with a dad?
I've grew up with everything. So I lived with both of my parents. They were married for 13 years, and I lived with both of them until I was 8. And then my mom lived in a women's shelter for a short minute. And then I lived in foster care when she had her second stroke. And then after that, we lived in Section 8 in Maryland. And then we lived in Florida when she got a house. And then from Florida, I moved to Atlanta to go to college. And then it was just me. So we have to have another conversation, because
I just realized there's so much shit that I just don't know about you. And it's funny because in my mind, you're one of the people who I'm close to in life. Like, because we have like obviously, from the time that we met, and then, just the years of, even though we weren't close, you were still close by.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like super fucking close by.
Yeah.
And then I also think because of like, like just different types of like places, and like in your experience of living situations in different places, now I understand more about like, when you came to New York and things like that. So like, yeah, we gotta talk about that, because now I want to know those things. Like now I'm like, oh shoot, wait, hold up, I ain't even. So your ability to adapt to a new living situation has to do with the fact that you've already been been exposed to multiple. So yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that shit, because I was definitely always had questions about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for doing this, and I will send it to you tomorrow, because I will edit it before I go.
You're fast.
Oh yeah.
I
just get it done. But have a good night, and tell Jazz thank you, and I'm sorry for holding you hostage.
Oh, it's all good, man. Yeah, word. All right.
All right. Thanks.
Peace.
Bye.
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 What's so special about Hero Bread's soft, fluffy, and delicious breads, buns, and tortillas? These ultra-low net-carb baked goods contain zero sugar, fewer calories, and more protein than the leading brands, and are high in fiber to support gut health. Shop now at Hero.co.